Jurus 1 and 2?
Yeah. Is that what we should be practicing, like to improve our balance?
Heck yeah. Yeah, it teaches how to receive and generate. The game is all about receiving and generating. That's it. No matter what they call it, no matter how they disguise it, no matter what it looks like, no matter who's doing it, you're either receiving energy or you're generating energy. That's it. That's what Jurus teach you. Keep you balanced, keep you centered, keep you pole, keep you relaxed. Remember to tense at the right amount of time. Breathe at the right time. Focus, which is a soft focus. You aren't thinking about multiple opponents. Remember, you aren't thinking. You're feeling the movement, so it'll happen instantaneous. That's it. Oh, you don't have any questions, Louis? You're just holding on?
Oh yeah.
Okay. No other questions? Yeah. Yeah, Glenn.
Guru Stevan, when you're doing your sweep, your lure,
Which one? Show me.
when you're doing your sweeping,
Yeah.
are you moving your whole body or just the sweeping?
How would you do it? Show me. Show me what you were taught. Nope.
No? Okay. Yeah, okay, so
One base at a time.
one
Just look
base
at
at
it.
a time.
Look at it.
Okay.
He shoots a bunch. Okay, and I'm here. If he's really hard on this, really heavy, and I move both upper base and lower base, see, it's going to be hard for me to push and move. Because I'm moving both bases. Remember the principle. Actually, it's a law. You have to have one base stationary to receive and generate power from. If I'm going to touch this ceiling, I need a base to generate power from to touch it. If I'm floating in the air, if I have no momentum, Newton's law, I'm not going to be able to touch that. Same thing here. A force is coming to me. In order for me to receive and generate, I have to look at this. Stays still, this moves. Stay still. See?
Yes.
And the same thing here if I'm doing Tiga. Watch. Okay? I'm in this position. I'll use this small. It's kind of small for me.
Yes.
But look what I do. See what I do? One base at a time. That's the only way you can sweep efficiently. After a while, once you understand the separation of bases, it'll look like two bases.
Okay.
But you understand. Look at it.
Yes.
What are laws for? Laws are meant to be broken. Sounds funny? No, it's true. Look at, if I just get my driver's license and I run a red light, chances are cops going to pull me over, right? Guess what? I ran a red light a couple of months ago. But I know when to break them. There weren't any cops around. Get it? That's the same thing here. You learn the laws, but you can break them once you understand them. You can't break them until you do. So if you do this, and you don't understand what you're doing, you've broken laws without understanding. You have to separate the bases, one base at a time. That's how you can receive and generate.
You're saying is to move your opponent out first,
Yes.
then sweep,
Then upper base.
and then upper base.
From here, here, this, then upper base.
Okay.
Then down. That's the only way you can sweep. You'll feel it once you do it in application, all right? You're only about 130 pounds, right? You
Yes.
go up against the biggest guy here, you try sweeping and moving both bases at one time, and you're going to have to really put hurt to him in order to make it happen.
Is that your
Yeah. Yeah. But you should be able to do it by physics and mechanics alone, if you understand. That's the same thing this. Here, Raymond, look at it. Okay? I'm just going to receive and generate with upper body. Punch. See? I just received and generate with upper body. This stayed still. Once I start moving this and this, I don't know if it's going to coordinate or not. Look at Muhammad Ali. Okay? No, he's not here. No. Yeah. Whenever he stung like a bee, danced like a butterfly, and he moved back, and he scored points, but he never did anything but score points because he didn't have a base. He was moving both bases at one time. He was doing this stuff. But you get across, planted, boom, upper base moves, lower base is stationary. Get it? That's with everything. One base at a time. Whether it's up here or down here. One base at a time. Very important. The jurors teach you that. The djurus teach you all that. It's very redundant. And after a while, your body just gets it. Don't even have to think about it. Your body just gets it. Is that a good enough answer for you?
Yes.
Good.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Good, good,
Makes
good.
a lot of sense.
No. Any other questions?
Yeah, I asked before, I wanted to see an infinity curve. I've seen it, you display it in vertical form, but I'd like to see it in a horizontal.
Oh,
Infinity.
well, that's easy.
Thank you.
Easy. No, that's good.
This plane.
Right.
It doesn't matter what plane it's on. Right? It doesn't matter. It's just a pivot point. It makes no difference.
Can I say it slowly, without?
Okay, now you have to make the funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, all I'm doing is this. Look at. Right? You weren't faking that, were you?
No, out.
You sure?
Wouldn't lie to you. As far as you know.
Okay. Any more questions? Yeah.
Can you explain the hip movement one more time?
The what?
The hip movement.
For which part?
Just off the djuru one.
Oh, okay. Djuru 1. Let's go through it again. Yeah, see, you really want to get it down. That's good. Because
Yeah, because you gave me a little bit, but I want to,
yeah.
just before you leave.
Okay. Okay, the hip is the axis, the liaison between the lower base and the upper base. It has to stay relaxed. It's like if I'm here, it's like I'm doing a hula hoop, right? Don't look at my ass, just look at my hips. Okay, that's what it is. All right? So what's happening is, because this is relaxed, I can, from my point, I can generate. See, look at, see what my hip does? See, it brings it out. I'm not doing this. See, that's all tool. Everything stems from your body. So, see that hip?
And then when you're,
And then from the, okay, so we've got this part. Hypercore. I'll over exaggerate. And this part here coming up is like, this way, guys. Now I'm just over exaggerating, but it's just coming up. See? Coming up. It's not, see, that's all tool. You can see that. And that's the difference you'll see between two people doing a form. Someone who's really experienced and a new beginner. Though they're doing the exact same form, you'll see one's got grace, skill, and there's power behind it, and the other guy just doesn't have it, right? You've seen that before. That's because that innate understanding of what the body is actually doing. It's this combination of things happening together. That's what it is. So what's happening is, I'm doing this, and I'll over-exaggerate, see? See? You see what's happening? And you can over-exaggerate it first to get it, but remember, you learn big circles, after a while they have to be small circles or else they aren't effective. So you learn the big first, see? See? You see how everything's generated from the body.
I have a question, Guru.
Does that help you? Yes.
Did you put that movement into the jurals, or did you learn them that way?
This is what I did.
The motion from the
Okay.
head.
Now I'm one of those thinkers that I hate puzzles I can't figure out. And here's my teacher. He's throwing me all over hell and back, and he's hardly moving. And he's not showing me how he's doing it. He's having me feel it, but he's not showing me how he's doing it. And then one day, I thought to myself, I go, wait a second. He wasn't always like this. He didn't just start out like that. He had to have come from somewhere. He had to have done something. So I started researching my own form. And I started researching and deducing that, look at, what am I doing? I'm trying to receive energy, reciprocate it, and bring it back. I can't do that by being a wooden dummy. How else can I do it? Well, how many ways can the body actually move to receive and generate? So the first things I came up with, well, yeah, upper base and lower base, right? Who asked the question? First upper base and lower base. Then I realized that what Paul was doing was he had these big circles that he made finite. So what I did was I opened them up so that I can make them finite. That's what it was. That's the same with a movement. If you see a movement that's really tight, okay, you see someone do something that's really tight, what you do is you open it up, okay? You start opening it up, then you start seeing what it's for. You see that. You start seeing what it's for. That's how you do it. But believe me, Paul had it. He had all of that stuff.
But you discovered that on your own.
Not really, because if it
No.
wasn't without Paul, I wouldn't have discovered nothing.
Well, meaning he didn't point that out to you.
There's a lot of
You
things he
figured it
didn't
out.
point out. You can ask Guru Louis. He shows you, but he doesn't show you.
He's more by example than explanation. He kind of does it, and you kind of figure it out. And he responds to things that you've seen based on your questions. Not necessarily like, do it this way, do that, because of this, because of that. If you see something, you recognize something, you ask him, he'll respond to that question. Because you saw it. And then he just keeps doing what he's doing. So it's not obvious, you have to be real attentive. And like what Steve was saying, that he understood, and he started feeling and tried to decipher, because I can concur with what he's saying, because Plinck was trying to kind of get us to go in a similar direction, but the way he did it was he was twisting and turning us, but in a real kind of an awkward way. Steve has a more refined expression of what Plinck was trying to get across to us. And he didn't go into a lot more detail regarding what it really meant and everything. Because as an example, the way Steve is using his body, the way we did it was to turn the body. We basically would turn and then come back like this. And that's like an over exaggeration of what he was doing. So he's kind of sending you on the road, but he's sending you way off. And you know, it took me I don't know how many more years to figure out. Oh, I got to shrink it down again. He's kind of, all of a sudden, I'd have to figure out where that 0 point was, what my parameters were, and that would have been a long struggle. So Steve's deductions are basically right on, because essentially that's the way to go.
And you know, and that only happened because of years and years and years of being put on my craft. Serious. You know, you have to feel him a lot before you can come up to any logical conclusion as to what he's doing. Just over and over and over, you know. He would drop me so many times, and every time it'd be different. But I'd want the same one so I can kind of see it, you know. Just like you guys. Would you do it again? No, he'd always give you something different. Always, always, always. So you know, you figure it out. If you want something bad enough, you'll figure it out. That's all it is. Anybody else have any other questions? Yeah, Steve.
I guess along the same lines that you're explaining the way that you were taught by your teacher. Do you think this is done like he preconceives it in order for your journey to be experienced maybe in a similar manner that he did? Self-discovery, I mean?
What you're really asking me was he honest in his teaching?
Well, I mean, I guess along the lines of assumption, is it safe to assume that this is what he's getting at by not really being so descriptive and explaining everything the way that we
I
would
think
want
that
to
could be
go down?
partially that, partially the culture, and partially just Paul. Paul. What do you think?
I think that when he was taught, I think his teacher was trying to teach him, and he was probably more open than the way he was teaching us. I mean, because he produced such a good product in him that I think there was a goal in mind with his instructor. He was probably more forthright because he was his relative and all that stuff.
His nephew. And you know what? Martial art usually gets transferred from uncle to nephew. Hardly ever from father to son. Because what son wants to listen to his father? No, it's true. That's just the way things go. It's usually from uncle to nephew. Did that answer your question?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just wondering, just out of
Oh,
curiosity.
no, sure.
Same reoccurring stories seem to happen where there's not really much of an explanation. I'm very over analytical, I feel, where I want to know why these movements are being done and doing the jurus, your answers are being, or your questions are being answered as you're doing the movements. You're discovering on your own why you're doing certain movements, when to torque, when to receive, and when to generate.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been doing Silat now since 73. Right, now with Paul, I started with Paul in 79, somewhere in there. But in 73 I started Silat. And you know what, I've been doing it all this time because, not because it's boring, because if it was boring I would have stopped a long time ago. I would have picked up something else. It was because I'm always learning from it. It's like a journey. You never stop learning. You never attain a goal. If your goal is here, you'll never reach it, which means you'll be the best that you can be. You know? That's a deep well. If your goal is there, once you reach it, okay, that's fine, let's go something else. You know? And that's really martial art, is to be the best that you can be, not to be the best. Because by being the best that you can be, you might become the best also, but that's not the goal. The real goal is to be the best that you can be. You know, and I found that in my martial arts training with Silat. It's never boring. I'm always learning. You'll never learn it all. It's impossible. You can't do it. It makes it really interesting. Really interesting. Anyway, any other questions?
I did. I was just going to ask you more, expand on the hip movement that you've been, you know, so you're generating the punches you were doing.
Okay, what do you want me to do now?
Is that part of your punching power that comes from?
Yes, yes, but I'm over exaggerating for you because you can make them as small as you want to according to your understanding. You know, Paul, he doesn't even have to do that. He just does this. You know, like I said, he shrinks them down to a point. And that's why a lot of times his newer students, they don't understand how he got the way he was. So they try to compensate with speed and force. That really is true. And I honestly and truthfully try to teach it to the best of my ability. Why? Because it's hard enough to, Paul always said this, so it's hard enough to understand the truth. Don't give him any crap. It takes him further off the course. It's hard enough to understand the truth. Don't give him any crap, you know, because then you're even further off the course. So this is how I feel about the path, whatever that is. Okay, the path. You have to have all your duckies in a row. It means you have to have all understanding at that particular point in time as you're walking it. If you're lacking it, you stay stagnant, and that's where you stay. Like if there were a couple laws and principles you didn't understand or you didn't have, okay, you can only get so far and that's it. It doesn't mean you can't fight. It doesn't mean you can't teach. It doesn't mean you don't know what you know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you only get so far on your own journey. So I'm always finding stuff out. Why? Because I have a firm foundation, and that foundation you can build on. That's why I'm really stringent in my teaching of foundation more so than technique. Because technique just comes out once you understand, once your body understands. So that's just the way I do it. Look, don't start yawning. That's a clue. All right. Any other questions? Let's sign out, guys. Repeat after me. I present myself before the Creator.
I present myself before the Creator.
In the beginning. I present myself to the best of my ability. In the knowledge of the art. As to receive all these things. Which I do not see. Grave up on my heart. Until the very end. Look, it's not just a salutation. It's also a promise to yourself that when you're in the training area, you're going to do the best you can. Because anything less is mediocre. Okay, thank you. But you can best. Oh, if you guys want it, that's up to you. Okay, thanks, bud.
You're welcome, sir.
Hey, can they just pick them out, or do we have to go through the handshakes?
It depends on how tired you are.
Look at, I'll just call your names. You guys get it, okay? Glenn.
Yes, sir. I'm here. present.
Get over there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hartman.
Sir.
Jim.
Jim who?
Romero. Tom.
Tom who? Galvin.
Galvin.
Can't pronounce your last name.
No, I knew it was Galvin. Jonathan.
Chavez. Smiling Irishman.
Paul Young.
Smiling Irishman.
Raul.
Finding
The
out.
wrong one. Raul.
Jonathan Assim.
Here you go, John.
Who's the scene? Did he leave?
Yeah, you had to go teach a class at UCLA.
Oh.
I'll take that for him. Or
Give it-
Steve.
You can give it to him. Yeah, he's got it. I can give it.
Ruben. Lionel. Yeah, it's you, Lionel.
I'm gonna take it in.
Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Carter. It must be you. Now, Luis.
Senor.
Luis. Luis.
Thank you. Hey, I want to say thank you to Mr. Sufu, the great Thompson, for having us here. No, man, he's a good friend of mine. And I appreciate it very much.